Okay, I think we're live and we're good to go. All right. Like I said earlier on, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Is a very, very, very first session of the year. And so it's good to say Happy New Year to you all. And also to welcome you on board on this journey in 2024. We have a very good, topic to discuss today. We want to start it slow on a very positive note, and so we'll see how that goes. But before we go into that, a quick introduction, like we always do, especially for those people who are joining us for the first time. So this is the Disciplined Agile Meetup for Africa. We call it Africa Disciplined Agile Meetup, and we are a group of people that are committed to promoting the real value of agile practices, lean practices, and also the freedom that agile generally brings. So all of us are individuals that are very passionate about agile, and some of us represent organizations in Africa with an interest to developing their agile and lean practices. If you have other people that would like to attend or that would benefit from this, please bring them to this board. We will open them. What we do every time is to build our knowledge in all the frameworks that we apply, either individually to individual lives or even to the work that we do. And we bring this knowledge from the world of Scrum, the world of Lean, Kanban, Safe, Lean Startup, and the likes as well. And of course, we are not forgetting the Discipline Agile Toolkit that forms the basis of why we put this together. There are a couple of announcements that will be coming in the year. Probably the next time we meet, we might discuss a few things that has to do with the community. But for now, I'll keep that warm. Also, I'd like to say that this is brought to you by Pitt Lauren Consulting. Pitt Lauren Consulting is an ATP. We call it the Agile, the Authorized Training Partner with Project Management Institute. And so if you are looking at training and consulting advisory opportunities, reach out to us. We are happy to work with you. Today, we will be inviting Peter Motoshaw, and that's my humble self, to come on board to talk to us about optimizing the year with Agile Principles, right? It's the first time we're meeting this year, and I thought it's good to come up with something very lightweight before we go into the nitty-gritty of what we are going to do in terms of deep diving into Agile and leadership and project management at large. So this is just to prepare our mind to say, well, it's still early in the year. It's still very much applicable to really plan our year. So most people on this call will know me, but for the sake of those who don't, I will say I work with organizations. I can call myself an agile coach, a trainer, a consultant, and I do understand the complex challenges that face contemporary organizations. I've been working in the agile space for quite a while, and over the years, I've worked in several sectors, energy, telecoms, IT, financial services, education, consulting, government, and currently I'm supporting a non-for-profit. So I am quite passionate about mentoring, about coaching, about working with new and existing teams. I am very passionate about growing teams to maturity, while I also ally with non-agile domains within enterprises, all to make them better in what they do. So let's go into today's presentation straight away. But before we go, one thing I'd like to do while I'm bringing today's slide on is please let us know where you are joining us from. Right? Let us know if you can type that into the chat. That will be good. Of course, this is Pete from Melbourne, Australia. All right, beautiful. Okay, I can see Lagos, I can see Excess UK, I can see Sweden, Pamela from the UK as well. Oh, Richard, or Rickard from Sweden. Well, Sweden, that used to be my second home. That's great. I've said that a lot of time. Second home in Africa, in Europe anyway, let me say that. Okay, cool. Let it keep coming. Remy from Nigeria, thank you for joining us. All right, I'll bring these up. All right, I see you want to come from Lagos, come professional. Nice to meet you here. And hopefully we have a okay, Robert Uko, Nairobi. Okay, Nairobi is also a very good one. US, Connecticut, US, and of course, Sunday from Lagos. All right, so let's go straight into today. I will share my screen again, and then we take it from there. All right, please. All right, cool. Thank you so much for muting. I need to bring up the video so that I can see all of you. Looks like I can show video panel. Beautiful. All right, good. We're good to go. So thank you for sharing where you're joining us from. Okay, Iwaneka, that's the very first question of the day. So we normally share the video, so you'll receive an email once the session is over. Let's say between today and the next day, it will be sent to you. So just keep watch. Of course, you can also join the YouTube channel. All the recordings will be there on the YouTube channel. So that is how we do that. So let's go straight into it. Thank you for that question. And let's make this question, let's keep the question coming. All right, so let's go into today's lightweight session. I've introduced myself, so I'm not going to spend time on this again. Now, today we are going to look at optimizing your year with Agile Principles. Now, today we're going to really look a little bit about the fundamentals of Agile method. Of course, it's not a Scrum session, it's not a Kanban session, so it's just going to be like a surface touching. I believe most people on this call will have done something on the Agile framework. If not, whatever I say will lay the foundation. We are also going to explore how Agile principles can be applied to both your personal and professional context. How can you use that to optimize your year? We'll be sharing a few practical tips and strategies for optimizing our year. And lastly, we'll have time for questions. Rub minds also to make sure that every of your questions are answered. So let's get started. And of course, if you have any questions or any thoughts throughout the presentation, feel free to jot them down, and then we will address them as time goes on. All right, so what do we have today? First of all, before we start, I want to start with a warning, right? Now, the concept I'll be sharing with you today are quite very simple. They're very, very simple, right? Now, what I'm going to say is what is easy to do is also easy not to do. What is easy to do is also easy not to do, which means they're concepts that you've probably heard before, and you might feel that, oh, these things are very easy. However, if you look through it and you apply it, you will be able to see some improvement. And that is what we are looking at today. That is what we are going to look at today. What is easy to do is also not easy to do. And I like this quote from Jim Rohn, which says that the magic is the doing of simple things repeatedly and long enough to ignite the miracle of the compound effect, which means if we do those simple tasks again and again and again, before you know it, it's going to form the core of how we do how we attack our day, how we attack our months, our hour, and the days, and even the months as well of the year. And before you know it, the compound effect is going to be positive. But having said that, I just want to say, do not focus on the simplicity of all this concept, but the application of it thereof, right? The problem that most people have is not in thinking about what they are going to do, it's in implementing what they said they are going to do or what they have taught about. And so let's see how we can get that done in this session. All right. Now, quickly, what is Agile? In short, in a few minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, Agile is definitely an approach to project management. Now, Agile emphasizes flexibility, it emphasizes collaboration, it emphasizes continuous improvement. We all know, or most of us know, the origination of the Agile ways of working, right? It was developed long ago, and it was put together in 2001 when a couple of people came to say, well, how is light level approach that we are using across our different organizations? Let's put them together. And then they came up with what we call the 4 values and the 12 principles, which I'm just going to talk about briefly in the next slides. So what I'm saying is, at its core, Agile is guided by 4 key values. And those 4 key values are outlined in the Agile Manifesto. Also, these values underpin the 12 principles as well. And those are the principles that guide Agile practices, right? So the origin, like I said, is in 2001 when 17 good, smart guys came together in the US to really put that together. They came up with these 4 values. And I'm just quickly going to really explain this for the sake of people that are not familiar with it. And if you're familiar with this, it's just going to be a refresher for you. The first value talks about individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Now, this is more like saying that, you as an individual working within a team, you're important. And the interaction between yourself as a team member and other team members is valued as well. Now, processes are quite important. Tools are quite important, but we value the individuals, which is you and the other team members, and the interaction between everybody in the team, much more than the processes and tools. With processes and tools, you can't achieve much, but with the individuals, with processes and tools alone, you can't achieve much. But with individuals and interactions, you can at least achieve something. So we focus on individuals and interactions. The second one talks about working software over comprehensive documentation, right? No matter how good the documentation is, if the product is not working, it is useless. I always want to give this example when explaining this value of Agile, right? If you buy a new television and it comes with a manual, no matter how big the manual is, if the television is not working, it is useless. As a matter of fact, even most people are like me, once I buy, for example, a television, I put it on, I play around with it. I prefer to play around with it and discover things myself, instead of reading the bulky documentation, which is the manual now. So what we are saying is customers prefer a working product over comprehensive documentation. Now, third one is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Now, I've been part of several contract negotiations in my career, and they are kind of painful, right? Because you're looking at service level agreement, some assumptions, some caveats, but what about we collaborating with a customer to know that even when things go wrong, you have my best interest at heart, and then you're going to support my product, you're going to support my network, you're going to support my customers to the best of your ability. And that's what customer collaboration over contract negotiation is all about. Now, the last one is my favorite, right? Responding to change over following a plan. Now, we like plans, and plans are good. However, what is constant is also change. Now, when those changes come, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, right? And the plan is always very straight, like the diagram there, from point A to point B. What is going to happen? The plan will tell us that. But the plan does not even know what's going to happen, right? We need to go in some valley, we need to climb some mountains, we need to use a boat at some point. It could be raining, stormy at some point. All of these things are not put into consideration. So what we are saying is the things in blue are much more focus. We are more focused on those things in blue than the other things. While the one in orange, which is processes and tools, the comprehensive documentation, contract negotiation, following a plan, they are very important. We should do them, but we should focus on the one in bold and blue as well. Now, quickly on the Agile principles, please, if you have any questions, let them call. I'm just building a case before we go into how we are going to apply these principles to our personal life or to work life as well. There are 12 Agile principles that underpin the Agile practices, right? And then we are going to really look at them. Well, not in detail, but just flash a few of them. For example, number 2 says, we welcome change, even late in development. We're working and there is something that is going to change the focus of the project that we're doing. We are saying, yeah, we're open to this change, let's change. Number 3, for example, well, it's talking about delivering working products, right? And we want to do that as frequent as possible with a preference for a shorter time scale. And that is why in Agile, we always look for iteration sprint, most likely something like a 2-week sprint. Let me maybe go through 1 or 2 more, right? Number 6, for example, is saying we maintain a sustainable pace and we promote healthy work-life balance. We want people to work sustainably. We don't say, work for 15 hours every day, and then in the next 2 months, everybody wants to go on vacation because they are so tired, because they are so demotivated. So maintaining a sustainable pace is quite very, very important. That is number 6. And one more before I go on to the next slide. Let's go on number 12, for example, right? So this is saying that we need to reflect on the way we work so that we can become more effective, so that we can continue to adjust our behavior accordingly. And that is exactly what we do, because every time we kind of do this introspection and retrospection to see how whatever our task is going, our project is going, our personal vision, how we're tracking, and that is what that is. So what I'm telling you on this slide is by embracing, Agile principles, individuals and of course teams can definitely adapt, changing requirements as they come. They can collaborate effectively. They can deliver high quality results as they go into the year. And so throughout this presentation, what we are going to be doing is to see how these principles can be applied not only to your personal life, but also to your professional settings, such that at the end of the day, we can optimize the year 2024. And so let's keep tracking. Remember, if you have any questions, please drop in the chat. We're going to deal with that at the end of the day. So the overview of the 12 principles, what does it teach us? Tells us that collaboration is quite important. Adaptability is quite important. continuous improvement is quite important. The opportunity to enable our teams to respond effectively to change is quite important. And the delivery of value, in terms of incremental delivery of value, is also very, very, very important. At the end of the day, we want to be satisfied. We want our customer to be satisfied with us. So in this case, the customer could be you in terms of personal life, or the customer could be your customer in real professional settings, or another department within your organization. So I just want to cap that before we go on to applying this to our personal life. Now, one of the fundamental elements of Agile is setting clear goals. As a matter of fact, when you look at how we work in the Agile space, for example, when we use Scrum, for example, the very first meeting in an iteration in a sprint is called the sprint planning meeting. What do we do there? We just set clear goals to start with, right? And so in our personal life, this could mean that we are defining what we want to achieve in various areas of our life. Things like your health, how do you want to promote your health? For example, every morning I'll wake up at 6 a.m., I'll do my workout, or I'll do a half an hour jog around. And if you do this consistently enough, it's going to have a ripple effect at the end of the day. It could be that you want to improve your relationships. It could be that you want to update your career. You might say, oh, wow, what are the emerging technologies that are coming up? Do I need to update my career in terms of knowledge in cybersecurity, in artificial intelligence, in Internet of Things, whatever is coming up? How do I do this? And so you need to set a clear goal. For example, I'll do maybe I'll sign up for an online webinar like this one, or every month I'll make sure I attend a free webinar like this, or a training, 2 days training, Scrum Master training, or Discipline Agile training, or SAFe training, whatever it is, right? And then this will help us take the personal development approach to all these areas: health, relationships, career, family, and so on and so forth. Whatever is your forward. So the thing is, once we have a goal in place, then we can continue to use iterative planning and time boxing to break them down into manageable tasks and milestones. So as an Agile enthusiast, these come very handy because, like I gave you an example of the first meeting in Scrum, for example. What happens after the set clear goals is just to look at the small chunk of work that can be done within the next 2 weeks, for example. The same thing goes to your personal life. You want to break your goals into small chunks and apply iterative planning to really begin to reach your milestones. It helps you to make progress incrementally. It helps you to maintain focus on what needs to be done, and you do that in good time, in a very short time. And of course, when you apply that, prioritization is key, right? And you focus on value delivery. So what that is telling us is, you as a person, you need to identify the high value activities that really align with your goals. Once you do that, you need to now focus your time. You need to focus your energy on those tasks so that you are making the most effective use of the resources that you have. And one of the most available resources is your time. What are you using your time on? Now, what is common now, one of the most common distraction these days is the mobile phone, right? A lot of people sit on their couch and then they are really scrolling through Facebook, Instagram. It's just quite fun. But before you know it, 3 hours later, you are looking at pictures of people that are doing amazing stuff, or people that pretend that they are doing amazing stuff, And then you're looking at this, and then it makes you even sad. And then before you know it, your goal is there, sitting down, right? Your goal is there, just sitting down on the couch with you, not going anywhere. So you need to look at what you focus on. What do you focus on? You need to look at what you focus on and make effective use of those resources, especially time. Time, once is gone, is gone. For example, in the morning, if I promise myself I'm going to do a 3-kilometer run, right? Am I starting up in the morning to do it? Or the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking my WhatsApp call or WhatsApp chats just to see who has tried to contact me? Or you're saying good morning, or you're taking a first picture and sharing and looking for the likes, right? So those are the things that we need to focus on as individuals, right? So I'll say that throughout this process of applying Agile to your personal life, you definitely need to be adaptable. And then, even before we started this, this meetup today, we talked about adaptability just as a chit chat session, right? And we need to be adaptable. We need to be open to change. For example, what you saw in January is I want to do this. But in February, something changed. What are you going to do? Please be open to change. Update your clear goals based on the information that you now have. Because we all know life is unpredictable. And of course, because it is so unpredictable, circumstances can change. So we need to adjust our plans accordingly so that we can continue to give ourselves the chance to grow, so that we can give ourselves the chance to continuously improve. Now, one of the books I read this year is The 12-Week Year. Now, 12-Week Year by Brian Morgan is actually a good book. If you can lay your hands on it, that will be very good. The good thing is it's actually there are free versions of the book on YouTube, so you can search for that and listen to the audio book. You can also buy the book on Amazon or wherever you want to buy it. It's a good book that actually brought this idea of applying Agile to your personal life into limelight. Although it wasn't saying it's Agile practice, but it's so aligned to the Agile practice. So what we are saying, the implementation is just more like crystallize your vision, which is what we have talked about, right? You develop your plan for the next 12 weeks, and you keep your score and continuously improve. You set up processes and controls. Of course, regain control of your life. And I spoke extensively on that as well. And you stay accounted and committed, right? What happens when things change? What happens when you're tired? What happens when you lose focus? You need to stay accountable and committed. And you reward yourself on the 13th week. This works so well because the year is made up of 52 weeks. That means if you break it down into 12 weeks, you have 4 12 weeks, and the 13th week is free for you just to reflect. And if you want to go on holiday, you can do that. If you want to get away, you can do that. So every 12 weeks, there is something to do, focus. And on the 13th week, you can reflect. That book goes ahead to say that more is achieved. It's just in pretend you see every month is every week, so that what you achieve in 12 weeks can be equated to what you will achieve in 12 months of the year. So I'll keep quiet on that one so that you can go and get a book or get the audiobook and read it. Going forward, let's really talk about Agile in your professional life. So shifting our focus to how you can actually apply the principles of Agile principles to your professional lives. Now, we as Agile or project management professionals, we can use frameworks like Scrum, like Kanban, design thinking, lean startup, right? To increase the way we are adaptable in the year so that we can optimize the year. For example, Scrum. Scrum emphasizes on teamwork, It emphasizes on accountability. It emphasizes on iterative delivery of project or of task. At the end of the day, the teams that are working will collaboratively deliver a small incremental improvement every iteration. And so you, as a professional, can actually apply a technique like Scrum, like Kanban, like Lean principles in your organization, in your small task. Now, one question I get a lot is, well, I work in a team, we don't use Scrum, we don't use Agile. Well, that's fine, that's okay. But what are you doing? I know people who created their personal Kanban board, put it on their table to do, in progress, done. And then they're just moving on their tasks. And that will help them focus on what matters. The most important thing is focused on early in the day, right? So what I'm saying is Kanban helps us to visualize work, right? It helps us to visualize work. It helps us to limit work in process. It also helps us to optimize flow, right? So the good thing about Kanban is as you visualize your work using a Kanban board, and as you limit the task that is in progress at any point in time, you can see the efficiency that comes with it. You can see the responsiveness from your side or from your team, right? If the team is taking that on board. And the good news is, even if you have your personal Kanban as a member of your team, before long, you will be motivating other team members to join you, and you see that it will be adopted. We have the Lean principles, which are a derivative of the manufacturing industry or manufacturing sector, right? Of course, this is about minimizing waste. I spoke about what you use your time on earlier on. So what are the wastes that you see in your team or in your organization? While you are minimizing waste, you are also maximizing customer value, right? You are continuously improving your processes, right? So once you do all this, what happens is your workflow will be optimized, will be streamlined, and also early delivery of value is definitely a must when you do this. Now, when you apply all these Agile principles, two things are very, very apparent. Welcome, definitely, right? Collaboration with the team and communication within the team, right? Because then you will see that, collectively, the discipline that is built into these frameworks come to life. Teams begin to collaborate more. Teams begin to trust themselves more. Psychological safety it will be increasing, and communication will be top-notch. This will lead to self-organizing teams. This will lead to, asking themselves what they can do to become better. For example, in terms of retrospective, right? Transparency will come, accountability will come, and eventually the team will continue to improve. So continuous improvement is a very, very good part of what we do as Agile professionals. This is what you can get by applying these principles to your professional life. So now that we understand how Agile principle can be applied to your personal life and to your professional life, let's now focus on how you can optimize the entire year using these methods. And then it's just me trying to put everything together now that has been talked about in the different slides. First of all, you, as a member of your team professionally or as an individual, you can break down your annual goals into smaller chunks, into smaller iterations, manageable iterations, right? And instead of trying to tackle that big work, right, all at once, which means you are saying, I need to finish a certification in September. It has 8 modules. Can I do module 1 monthly, 1 module per month, so that by September I finish it, and then I write my examination, right? So all you need is to break down your task and into goals, and then you adapt your plans along the way. Secondly, continuous reflection and adaptation is quite important. These are good components of Agile, right? So by regularly reviewing your progress, by regularly identifying areas of improvement, by regularly identifying and adjusting your plans as they evolve, right? You will ensure that you stay on track. You will ensure that you are making progress towards your goal. You will ensure that you focus on the big picture. And so that is the idea of continuous reflection and adaptation. On a personal level, what do you do at the end of the day? Do you just say, how did today go in terms of reflection? At the end of the week, are you saying, what did I use my time on this week? Are you celebrating the small wins? Are you really saying, well, I spent too much time watching TV this week? Can I reduce that by 20%? Just continuous reflection, and then you adapt in the upcoming days or weeks, depending on the iteration we're looking at. And lastly, I'm going to talk about experimentation and risk-taking. One thing that is common is the fear of failure. We don't do a lot of things because we are fearful, because we're afraid of failure. Now, instead of looking at that way, can we say every time we did kind of fail is an opportunity to learn? So let's turn that around to being able to embrace a learning opportunity. And so what that will do is it will push you to try new approaches. It will push you to explore different strategies. It will push you to be open to change as they come. And of course, doing that, you will be able to discover what works for you along the line. One of the other books that I started reading is 10x is easier than 2x. 10x is easier than 2x. And it's talking about all these as well, because it's just more like, well, when you try to improve twice as much as you are, it's quite difficult. If you do 10x, it looks like, that cannot be possible. But at the end of the day, it opens you to new approaches, it opens you to new strategies, it opens you to change, and then you can actually see what works for you, and you refine your plans accordingly. So the takeaway from this slide is, overall, by applying the Agile principles to the year 2024, you can definitely create a flexible framework. You can create an adaptive framework for success this year. All right. Like I said in the beginning, this concepts are quite easy to learn, to listen to. Most people do not have problems with this concept. The problem is applying this concept, which takes me to the next slide. So those are the practical tips that I thought I should share with you on how to implement these. The tips, the strategies for implementing Agile principles so that they can be effectively implemented in our personal life or also in our professional life. First of all, set SMART goals, right? Ensure that your goals are specific, they're measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have heard these again and again and again and again. But how much on the practical side of things are you applying this to your life? Are you making sure that your goal is specific or they're fluffy? Are they measurable? At what point can you say, I'm done? Right? At what point can you say, oh, this is achievable? Because big goals are there. I want to become this. But if you don't break it down into achievable blocks, what happens? At what point can you say that this is relevant to where I'm going at the end of the day? If you are doing things that are not going to lead you to where you're going, it's just a waste of time. And at what point do you say this is done, right? Time bound. By March this year, by April or by September, I want to do this. So time bound. So applying this to your life can actually be very rewarding. Time management techniques, right? So we talk about, techniques that we can use, time boxing, Pomodoro technique. I'm just going to talk a little bit about that soon. Prioritization, right? Every time you write to your to-do list in the morning, are you doing the least important thing first because it's the first thing that came to your mind and is number one on your to-do list, or are you doing number 12, which is going to lead to the most impressive outcome, right? Or something like Eisenhower matrix, right? We're going to talk about that in the next slide as well. We also have some tools that we can use, right? One of them is your note, right? You write your to-do list every morning, 1 to 9, 1 to 10, what I want to do. That is the old classic, right? Or you can use other tools like, Jira, for example. I use Jira a lot to do my personal planning. And you can get a free version for yourself. Jira, Asana, Confluence, and so on and so forth. These tools are good for tracking your progress. They are also good for collaborating with your team members. Most of them are visualizing tools, so you can see how you and your team members are tracking. In terms of resources for agile planning, you can also consider resources such as online courses and workshops. You can, as a team, invest in a good Scrum Master, a good agile coach to deepen your understanding of agile methods. And of course, they will help you refine your processes. Okay, so these are some of the tools. For example, I spoke extensively on, on the smart idea, the SMART goals. Time management tools, you know about that as well. For example, when we talk about Pomodoro technique, you want to say, what task do I need to complete? You ask yourself that, right? And then you can set like 25 minutes on the timer and to focus deep work on that task. You focus on the task for that 25 minutes. And then you have your 5 minutes break. Because the attention span of individuals these days has drastically reduced. There are so many distractions around us. There are so many things that is going on daily. And so to have deep work, if you work over 4 hours, for example, after that, you become so tired. I remember days that I have back-to-back chats, back-to-back meetings, long workshops. At the end of the day, I'm really tired and I can't really do other things as well. However, Pomodoro technique will help you take short breaks. After 25 minutes, you give the same short break. And this is one of the advantages of having a tool like this, your phone, where you can actually set a timer and then nothing will disturb you for that deep work, right? And then you continue to work that way. And of course, after about 4 times, you take a longer break, half an hour break, for example, or your lunch break. And then you come back to doing it. This works very well. This works very well. The way I've applied these at work is my meetings always have that 5 minutes. So if I need to meet someone for half an hour, I block 25 minutes, 10 a.m. to 10:25. That way, the meeting ends at 10:25. I have a chance to stand up and stretch. And then the meeting can start at 10:30. The next meeting can start at 12:30. If it's a 1 hour chat, 55 minutes or 50 minutes, add end, and then I can stand up. So your calendar is also your tool. Of course, I did talk about the Eisenhower way of the box. There are 4 of them, right? The quadrant, we have the important things, the not important things, the things you want to manage, and the things you want to prioritize, right? So, and of course, it goes into what you want to do, because what is important and that you want to manage, you definitely want to work on that. You want to, for example, you want to create a proposal for potential client, you need to be on it, right? Or you want a deadline, you have a deadline for a project, for a task, you want to work on that, right? Or you have an interview you are preparing for. That is very important. Some things that you need to prioritize, they are important and you need to prioritize them. You need to decide when to do them. For example, you want to plan a new marketing initiative. It's going to come in the future, so put it in your plan. Or you want to plan a training for your team. You need to put that in the plan. Some things are not worth your time because they are not important and they can be managed. And so, for example, right? You want to book flights. Instead of you looking at, what is the cheapest, what time of the day, what you need to want to do is you want to delegate that to someone that knows better, that have the time. Let them do that for you. And you will be surprised how many people will say yes to your delegation. Most of us are not delegating tasks because we are not asking. Of course, we have things that you need to delete from your calendar or from your time. Things like endless social media scrolling. It is good for relaxation if you have your 5 minutes break or 15 minutes break. But when you're sitting there for 4 hours, it is not really sustainable, right? Over analysis, this is where most of us struggle. Something is in front of you, and then you're spending days analyzing, bringing scenarios that will not even occur. So those are things you need to do less of. Procrastination as well. So I'm just going to stop on that one. So at the end of the day, with these tools, you can embrace iteration and adaptation. We've spoken a lot about that. You can foster collaboration and communication within you and your team. With you and your team, we have also spoken a lot about that. And that takes me to the conclusion of this. What we are saying is that Agile principles can serve as powerful frameworks for optimizing both your personal and your professional lives, especially from setting clear goals to embracing iteration, to fostering collaboration, and to continue to help us remain adaptable, or what we call the continuous improvement side of things. And we spoke about the methods that we can use, methods such as Scrum, Kanban, Lean for teams, and even individuals can use personal Kanban. I did mention a few books that you can get on to help you get this practice to your personal life. So what I want to say is, well, as you go ahead with this year 2024, I want to encourage you to keep these key principles in mind. Setting goals is quite important. If you don't set goals, if you don't have your objective, everywhere you just live by the second or by the day. I want to encourage you to embrace iteration. I want to encourage you to prioritize your collaboration with others and remain adaptable in the face of change. We all know that change is constant, and so you need to be adaptable to that, right? We need to be adaptable to that. So I just want to say at this point, I wish you all the best in 2024. We are in it together, so let's continue to leverage on each other on how we're going to make this year count. How we're going to make this year count. I'm looking at the time as well. I'm just going to say, if there is any questions, the floor is open for any questions or discussions. If you want to bring anything up, that will be very, very important at this time. I quickly run through here so that I can cover everything as well. So no question is too big or too small. Your input is quite valuable. So if you want to put it in the chat or you want to unmute yourself, feel free to do so. Comment as well. Maybe you are already adopting this. Yep, let's talk about it. At the end of the questions and answers, I'm going to share the PDU code for this session. You have one PDU as a member of the TMI community. So I'm going to share that. And so the floor is open. Hopefully we get some questions. And I can see that the chat box has been going on. Let me quickly see what has been there. Oh, thank you so much, Patrick. There are so many comments here. All right, beautiful. All right. Iwaneka, I can see something from you. What an insightful session on Agile method. It was a great reflection, and I appreciate the opportunity to revisit key concepts and best practices. To further enhance our learning experience, I suggest creating a community platform like Discord, Telegram, Slack, WhatsApp, okay? This will provide a space for us to continue discussing Agile method. All right, cool. That's a very good suggestion. Waneka, if you please connect with me, let's discuss this further. We tried a few things last year. What happens is I need some help with the community, actually, from the community, so that we can take this further. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you very much. Very insightful. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Let me just share my LinkedIn profile with you. I'll put that in the link in the chat box. That's my LinkedIn. Let's connect on LinkedIn, and then we can take it from there. Of course, I can also give you my other contact as well. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Buki. I like the part of applying Agile to personal activities. Definitely, it works. It works very, very well. Been doing this for like forever. And for those very insightful comment by Patrick, thank you so much. I'm reading through them now, and they are very, very, very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right. Yes, I can say that. I second that. Similarly, the short notes and summary by Patrick is very impactful. Thank you. Mind mapping is a great tool. Honestly, Pamela, you said that's very also true. Very true as well. I like to say this. My daughter wrote a book, and the starting point in those days when she was 8 years old was mind mapping. She has a lot of ideas, and I said, oh, cool. Let's pour that. So on a board on the wall, what we did is, okay, what do you want to do? And then we did the mind mapping. And at the end of the day, we keep reflecting back to that. Eventually, she got the book. That's that on the yellow book on my shelf behind me. 21 Girls Who Made the World a Better Place. So thank you. Let's use all these techniques. All right, looks like there is no more question that we want to ask. And if there is any question, there are quite a number of people on the chat that can help us with that. Really feel free to reach out to Ross, myself, Pamela is there, Patrick is there, and Femi Adelusi is there. And of course, there are quite a number of very, very good people on the senior people, Mary Michael, on this call. Please, let's connect. For you, if you need the TMI code, this will help you get one PDU. So you can definitely use that to claim your PDU. Use that. You need to just go on your PMI PMI site and use this PDU to claim for one PDU. So I think that is the code 5512 I've also dropped it in the chat box, so you can use that. All right. Again, Waneka, if you'd like to connect with me, I've given you my LinkedIn profile. Also, my email address is there, pete@petelaurenconsulting.com.au. You might want to use that as well. I'll respond to you. You will also receive an email from me as well. Oh, great. Thank you. Connected already. I'll accept that connection. And so this is the last minutes. I just want to say thank you for staying with me on this session. Definitely is the first one. And then we're looking for a part 1 this year. We already have someone coming in March to tell us about something amazing. I'll keep that and I'll give you more information about that in the coming days. So have a very good one, and we will see you next month, 3rd Wednesday of the month, and then we'll take us further. I believe you will apply some of these techniques, as simple as they are. They are powerful, they are useful, and they are very, very valuable. Let's keep swinging and let's keep winning. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Have a great
Thank you
one.
very much.
Have a good one, Pam.
Thank you. You too. Bye, everyone.
All right,
Bye.
Femi. Have a great one. I'm a man, man. We'll talk later.
All right.
All
let me
right.
stop. Let me just stop the recording.
Recording.
Yeah.
Great session, man.
Thank you so much.
Always welcome, sir.